Hi, Michael here with the next Ask Michael Anything video. Now, I got an email from Anthony Ling. Thanks for your email, who says, thank you, Michael, for providing the ability to ask you these questions. I know you believe in borrowing against high growth properties and then eventually living off your equity. How and when do I pay down my debt? When do I eventually own my properties? I want to pass them on to my kids, but using your system, I'll be leaving them with debt. I look forward to your answer. That's a good question. I remember over the years as I grew my property portfolio, my mother, who was always a bit worried with debt, used to say, but Michael, when will you ever own anything? And it's just the concept that the average person, and in particular the poor people, are scared about debt. So poor people don't become wealthy because they don't know how to use debt, and they don't recognise the difference between good debt and bad debt. So good debt is against appreciating assets, bad debt's obviously against depreciating goods, things that don't go up in value. So to grow a substantial property portfolio, you're going to need to take on debt. And there are three stages of your property journey. The first stage is the asset growth stage, and that'll take quite a few years, a number of property cycles. And then you slowly transition with lowering your loan to value ratios to eventually get to the cash flow stage where you live off your properties. Now, whether it's that you totally pay them down, like you're wanting to, Anthony, or whether you only pay a portion down and live off the increasing equity and borrowing against the increasing equity, now that's a bit harder today, but that's a totally different discussion. It's still definitely doable. The answer is, like most of our clients, you're wanting to grow, protect, and pass on your wealth to your kids, but it's not how much debt or not debt you pass on to them that's the concern. Really, it's the net asset position. So if you've got a $10 million property portfolio and $5 million worth of debt, and you're passing on $5 million worth of net assets, $10 million worth of gross assets that are growing in value by, I don't know, 5%, 8% a year, going up $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 a year, that's a good inheritance to leave your kids, as opposed to if you didn't have debt and you weren't able to build this bigger portfolio, you'd be leaving them a smaller amount. So I guess I could jokingly say it's not your worry, you're not going to be around, but I guess my answer instead would be teach them good debt management so that when you pass on your assets, they are in the position to be able to handle the debt wisely. Oh, one more other little tip. When you buying today for the future, begin with the end in mind. In what entities do you want to have these properties so you can pass them on to your children? Now, I don't know your circumstances, Anthony, so it could be a trust, could be in your name, it could be in joint names with your wife, but it's probably good to get sound professional advice about structuring before you buy your properties, so to make sure that you pass them on correctly to your kids. Thanks for the question. And if you've got a question, just leave it down below, and I look forward to answering your question on my weekly Ask Michael Anything video.